and welcome to this edition of Bison Talks Impact, coming to you from the Total Nonstop Impact Network. And I am joined today by the incredible former TNA Knockout Champion and also former Tag Team Knockout Champion, ODB. Welcome to the show, Jesse.
Oh, thanks for having me. Finally, our schedules have been kind of getting messed up here, but hey, we got it.
We got there in the end. It's been, I think we've tried, what, 3 or 4 times, I think. Or is this third time's a charm? I think this was the third time. So
that's right.
We definitely got there. So it's great. It's great to have you come on the show. I mean, I know you're extremely busy, with your food truck business, especially. You do quite a few radio interviews and all that kind of stuff. So I really do appreciate you taking the time out. And I know it's also your day off. So thank you for taking the time out to chat with me today. I do appreciate it.
No problem.
How's the food truck going? How's that all going? Because I know obviously we had a few problems back end of last year with the fire and stuff, and now you're back on the road. So how's it all going with COVID?
Yes, honestly, the whole phrase "everything happens for a reason" turned out great for me. My very first food truck obviously burnt to the ground over a year ago, and honestly, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I got my dream food truck. I got back into wrestling a little bit. TNA helped me out. NWA helped me out. And all my wrestling family was always there for me. And I got my dream food truck and it went great. My food truck, it did amazing during this shit show that's going on. In Minnesota, I knocked it out of the park. My food truck is doing 6 figures, so I can't fucking complain. In 6 months, like it just blew up, like literally. I mean, not blew up, but But now so I'm based out of Minnesota, but I came down south because obviously the wintertime I cannot food truck. So I decided let's go back to where it all started in Ormond Beach, Florida. So I'm down here right now. So I just moved about a month ago, literally moved my Airstream, moved my food truck and everything down here. And then I've been food trucking for about 2 weeks out here. It's been going all right. I'm just still trying to get my name out there and, trying to find the good spots, but it's been a little rocky the first 2 weeks here of food trucking because it's hard. I'm the new chick on the block, all the food trucks. I'm just trying to find the good spots. But I reached out.
Do they not know who you are though?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Do they not know who you are?
What's that?
I said, but do they not know who you are? I mean, you're ODB.
Well, they know who the fuck I am, but no. But it's just... But just like finding, because everyone thinks, oh, food truck, you can just park down the street, open your window and sell your meat. Well, it's not like that, all the lovely permits, licenses and all that fun stuff goes, So it's just trying to, get the routine. And a lot of wrestlers live out here. So I've reached out to a lot of the wrestlers and they've been hooking me up with people in the certain cities. So I got a huge event actually coming up on Thanksgiving. It's called the Turkey Rod Run. It's at the Daytona Speedway in Daytona Beach. It's huge. So I got a spot and I'm excited for that one. So the food truck will be doing really good this week.
It'll be in full effect. That sounds fantastic. Sounds great. So I'm really pleased to hear that all that's going well for you.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I sort of kind of hit on the food truck stuff a little bit was because back in November last year when we had the ODB appreciation in New York, I was actually there.
Awesome.
I was actually so I got to see you live for the second time in my life, because I actually saw you live back at around 2007 time, I think it was. Let me see. Down at the Impact Zone, down in, is it Universal Studios, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, down in Florida. So I saw you down there, which I think at that time, that was your first possible run, I think, with the company?
I mean, I started with TNA a long time ago, like 2003. I've been hanging out at TNA.
Right.
The Nashville Fairground days. But the official TNA Knockout started in 2007. So yeah, that was the start of all the original knockouts.
Yeah, definitely. And the start of I hate to say revolution because another company up north tend to use that sort of kind of phrase. No. So not really revolution, but you started something, that's for sure. So one of the things I do want to make sure, obviously, you know, we're living in difficult times at the moment, you know, so I really hope that you're staying safe. You know, can you give us an insight into, say, you know, one day in the life of ODB as it is at the moment,
All right, well, I wake up. I actually been working on myself a lot, so I'm a very kind of changed ODB here. So I wake up really about 6 a.m. The first thing I do, I do not grab my phone in the morning. I actually read, and this is actually one of my favorite books I read by Sean Whalen, How to Make Shit Happen. I have read this about 4 times already. Then I hit the gym right away. Either go for a walk or hit the gym just to get the body rocking and stuff. And then it's rubbing meat time. It's rubbing the pork butts. So it's I rub about 8. Depends on my location where I'm going, but normally it's about 8 pork butts a day. So I rub it and then I throw it in the smoker for a good 8, almost 10 hours. Depends what size they are. And then I'm just, you know, getting the food truck ready, prepping everything, and, you know, running to the store, getting last minute shit. And then, basically like doing emails and stuff, because it's just me. I'm a one-woman show. I don't have no manager, or, you know, I wish I had a little bitch, but I'm my own little bitch.
But the main thing is, one thing's for sure, is when I think you do stuff yourself, you get shit done, right?
Exactly, right? You don't have to worry about waiting on someone doing it, because that shit sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I know exactly how that feels. I'm a business owner myself, so you do kind of get into that state of, well, you know, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done, or nobody else cares about my business more than I do, so I should just get on and do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, exactly. So I totally get where you're coming from. Now, going back to a bit of wrestling. So you started wrestling around 2001-ish. I read somewhere that you made the final 25 to be selected for WWE Tough Enough. Now, can you give us some insight into how all of that came about? That's a while back there, isn't it?
Yeah. It's funny because a lot of people don't know that. They'll find it like on the WWE network and stuff. And I remember I always wanted to be a wrestler. I was out, especially being from Minnesota, and all the legends were there. God Rest His Soul, Animal was there. And it's like all, you know, Ric Flair, Hogan got their start there, the AWA, the Ganyas. And I've always loved wrestling. And then all of a sudden this commercial came on, WWF, and said, you think you got what it takes to be a WWF wrestler? Are you tough enough? And I'm like, hell yeah. So I made a tape, and I actually called myself ODB, One Dirty Bitch, already. I had I had maybe like 1 tattoo on each arm, and I didn't have my double D's. I didn't have the BAM yet. And then I sent in my tape. My brother taped it for me, and all of a sudden I got a call from MTV, and they're like, you know, you made it. I think there's about 300 of us that actually got to go to New York. That's when WWF actually had a WWF restaurant right in Times Square there. Yep. And it was beautiful. It was a freaking badass place. And then, you know, got interviews, and I got the jump in the ring, and they basically like blow you up. You have to either like jump rope or like do some obstacle course and then grab the mic and cut a promo. Well, then I called myself One Dirty Bitch, and I flexed, and then they're like, well, why are you One Dirty Bitch? And I don't really remember the interview, but Al Snow was there. Taz was there. I believe Mick Foley was there, and Miss Jackie was there. And then it was pretty badass. And the next day, it was that's when, you know, they made it to the top 25, and then you know, people are all lined up outside. It's cold out. And then if you saw your name, you go through the door. Well, my name was on the top 25. I was like, yes. Go in. More interviews. Well, I didn't really have a story back then. I was 20, I don't even know my age, 21 years old probably. And that was back in 2000. And it's just like, damn, I wasn't who I am now. I wasn't, you know, I was just a little shy girl. So normal, you know, growing up, and I didn't have a story for that. So
did you have any wrestling training prior to that, or did you just go straight in?
No, always been like an athlete and stuff growing up, but MTV did not like me, but WWF did. WWF actually wanted me on the show because Al Snow,
Right.
till this day, remembers me from Tough Enough. And we always, MTV's like, nah, she doesn't have a story. So we can't really, because you know how reality shows are. They want to freaking,
Yeah.
But honestly, it happened for a reason, because if I would have made that Tough Enough show, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I'd have probably been like a drug addict or an alcoholic somewhere, like a has-been.
Oh, God.
It all worked out because, and then I got my start with TNA. So and then paid my dues in the independent scene.
Exactly. So I've got down here now, because obviously, I've been a fan of yours for quite some time. So I do read whenever something comes up. I always have a little read of it, and sometimes I always wonder, are the dates right, or is this information correct? But whatever you get, sometimes it's fascinating. So I've got here that you did join TNA around about 2003, 2004. Now, you had a brief feud at that time with Trinity. I mean, she was amazing. And later on, I think you worked with Tracy Brooks. Do you remember much about that sort of initial time in TNA?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I remember I literally packed up my truck and moved to Nashville, Tennessee. Actually, a funny little story. I was actually in Green Bay, Wisconsin, backstage at WWF, and just being a little extra. And after that, I was driving on to Nashville. So I was driving on to Nashville, and I packed up my truck, and I was like, because Al Snow has always kind of been there for me. He's been like my mentor during my whole wrestling career in 20 years, and he's always like, if you have nothing holding you back, he's like, you need to be in front of people. You need to learn. And so I packed my shit up, and then Tracy Brooks. Actually, I met her in the indie scene, and she's like, you're more than welcome to crash with me. I got an extra room, and so we were roommates for 5 years down south. And then it was funny because I was at SmackDown, and I actually met my future husband, Eric Young. He was there in 2003, and he's like, well, I'm going to Nashville too. He's like, why don't you follow me, and then we can follow each other, and then if you get tired, we can pull over, whatever. And then he's like really good friends with Tracy Brooks too. So damn Canadians, they looked out for me.
Yeah,
cool.
It's interesting you bring up Eric, because I interviewed Eric about a month or so ago. Because obviously he's recently rejoined Impact, as I'm sure you're aware. And he had nothing but great things to say about you. He said what a beautiful person you were. And, he's a sweet. He said you're a sweetheart. So I think that was nice to pass that on for you.
Oh, he's good people. We had a blast in the ring. Our chemistry was off the charts, and we just winged it. TNA let us do our thing. They're like, you guys got this. Just have fun, be you guys. And we would crack each other up. It took us, we're one takers, but there's sometimes we would go off, and Vince Russo was like, what the fuck did you guys just say? So he's like, let's do this again. So oh my God, I love Eric Young. I'm so glad he's getting another opportunity at Impact, because he deserves.
But I do feel sorry for Cody Deaner though, because obviously that broke his heart when you guys got married. So
such a little hussy in TNA. I went out with Deaner, and then dumped his ass and went out with his best friend. Jeez.
Oh, terrible. Absolutely terrible. But you had some fantastic matches with Tracy Brooks. Some fantastic stuff I remember with Tracy back then. For me, you were a strong, you were quick, athletic in the ring. You told a great story. You're always good at telling that story. And I think when you work with someone like Tracy, who was also very good at telling a story, especially, it was quite special watching you guys in the ring. Do you have a specific match in your brain that you could say to yourself, you know what, this particular match with her was off the chain?
Oh my God, me and Tracy Brooks, she's still my best friend till this day. And oh my God, we've had a lot of memories together. You gotta wait for my book to come out to tell, but no, some of our matches, like we always like we were both raised old school, like tell a story, you know, like
yes,
less is more and all that, you know, be chicks and don't wrestle like a man. And so we would actually, even back then, what, 3-4 years in the business, we're like, let's have a match and not bump. I'm like, perfect. Right. That's why I feel good. I'm 42 and I actually feel great. So one of our matches was actually it was for Tony Falk in Tennessee, right outside of Nashville. And man, I know, probably in front of 50 people, maybe. And maybe we got paid $30. And I threw the stiffest forearm, and that was the last time I ever threw a forearm like that. I got her so good, she was like, holy shit. She's like, do I owe you money? I was like, oops, you got me back. But that is like, I mean, we had so many matches, but that match stands out because I remember it like it was yesterday. And then she's like, Jesus, she's like, don't ever forearm like that ever again. And I never did.
Oh, bless her, bless her. I know that there's, you know, speaking to different wrestlers over the years, I know that she was seen as almost like a mother figure, wasn't she? She was a go,
Yeah.
not necessarily a mother figure, but like a go-to person in the locker room. Back in those days, she was a very special person, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, because everyone loved her, and she helped a lot of people out too. You know, like her and Gail Kim are best friends too, and then she helped Taylor Wilde, Chantel, and Madison Rain too.
Yes.
She really just like, you know, like a locker room leader too, and she was just very like she put us, like, she didn't put herself before any other, you know, like she just very
right,
you know, and she was happy at what she did. You know, she got to manage a lot. I mean, she got to be around a lot of people, Dusty Rhodes, and so she had a good little career. And everyone loved her. I've never heard a bad thing about Tracy Brooks.
No.
Like, everyone loves her, a sweetheart, and you know, she can party well, not anymore. She's a mom now and married and stuff. So when I go visit her in California, you know, she's going to bed at like 9:30. I'm like, come on now. Well, I go to bed at 10, so I guess it's really not. I guess we got.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling, definitely. Now, what I was going to say to you was that during your TNA run, you had some amazing storylines. Now, we've already touched on Eric a little bit. Because one of my favorite stories that you had was with Eric, and of course, you know, the journey of love, you know, and your marriage and everything else to Eric. I mean, can you give us some insight into? I mean, you've already given us a little bit, but can you give us a little bit more insight into what it was like to work with Eric? I mean, do you have any really cool stories that you might want to tell us? I mean, I know you're bringing out a book, but is there anything that you might want to divulge?
Yeah, it was like, because I remember when Vince Russo, they put us together for this tag team tournament with the guys. And I'm not sure, some of the guys were like, oh, what, ODB is going to be in this, and EY, and it's going to be all comedy. I'm like, settle the fuck down, you know, like, it'll be our best match. So like, and then they pair us together, and then they're like, wow, they really have good chemistry. Let's keep them rocking. And then I remember Vince Russo was like, well, we're going to do like a love story. And we just looked at each other like, what the fuck? Like, hey, it keeps us getting paid and keeps us on TV. And we had fun with it because we basically wrote our own storyline. And then they're like, you're going to get married. And we're like, what? And then me and EY talked about that. We're like, oh, we don't want to be rushed, you know? But we made sure, like, in all our pre-tapes, like, it was good. Like, we just didn't want to rush it. And then we were kind of nervous, like, is it going to be a good wedding? And then, you know, we had interference come, but we made it work. And it's actually one of the coolest things. One of my favorite memories in my wrestling career is getting married. And like, I still have that wedding dress, and I really want to give it away. Not give it away, but auction my wedding dress off one of these days and have someone, you know, enjoy it. So I don't see myself wearing it anytime soon. But no, EY, I remember one good story. We were in, we were in the gorilla position on our way out, and I had my flask, and Sting was right there. And Sting's like, hey, he's like, do you put stuff? And you put anything in that flask? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I'm like, want to taste? He's like, oh, no. I'm like, what do you have, pussy? And EY was like, what the fuck? I'm like, and then our music hit, and EY's like, did you just call Sting a pussy? I'm like, yep, I sure did. Saved by the Bell. Let's go. And then,
I can't imagine that.
like, because Sting is so very mellow, he's such a gentleman. And I used to like mess with him a lot. Like, what's up, Sting? Looking good in those jeans.
He's yeah, I think, you know, you hear lots of stories. I've never ever had the pleasure of meeting Sting or interviewing anything like that, but you hear stories about him just genuinely being a really nice bloke and sort of kind of always you know, there to help others, you know, with his experience and his knowledge. He's always there to help people. I mean, do you have any stories about maybe a moment that you had with Sting that was you know, where he helped you maybe, or anything like that?
I wish I had a moment with Sting, but never got the chance. Just kidding. No, we didn't really. That was probably my moment, calling him a pussy, I guess. And then we would chit chat, you know, once in a while. And he was just like, you know, I really like your character. You're very old school. He's like, keep it up, you know. And he just said, you know, it's refreshing. He basically told me, and so that was good to hear. And he loved watching. Like, that's the one thing I loved. Being a part of TNA and being one of the original chicks there, like we were such a family. Like, you go backstage and it felt like a family. You weren't like walking on eggshells. Like, I enjoyed going there every time. And all the legends and Hall of Famers, you know, you got Ric Flair, Booker T, Kurt Angle, Steiners, the Hardy Boys, and like all those guys, they legit watched us. They wanted to help the young ones out. And like, I mean, seeing Kurt Angle, like literally through the curtain, watching all our matches. And then we'd always go up to him, you know, and some of the guys didn't. I'm like, what are you doing? This Hall of Famer just watched your match. Go talk to him, you know? So it was like, that's the one thing I just loved about. And then, you know, then afterwards, you know, you'd go have a drink with them, you know, go up. You know, I was drinking with Hulk Hogan, Flair, Kevin Nash. Like, it's pretty badass.
That is definitely cool. That is very cool indeed. So over the years, you've worked with some of the best female talent I think that the world has ever seen. I mean, obviously, you've worked with the likes of Gail Kim. Obviously, we talked about just off air there. We talked about Mickie James, the Beautiful People, Taylor Wilde, Jacqueline, Awesome Kong. I mean, there's just so many to mention. Some of the greatest female talents that's ever graced the ring. You know, I do want to talk a little bit about Jacqueline. Actually, I don't actually remember you wrestling Jacqueline. So, did you wrestle Jacqueline?
Me and Jackie actually were tag team partners.
Okay.
And then we had one match. We had like a street fight together. During like, it was one of those knockouts pay-per-view. So if you didn't see they went like straight to DVD, I believe. So if you didn't see that, you didn't really see us wrestle. But I'm glad I was her tag team partner, because I wouldn't want to be on the other end of that.
I've heard stories that she was one strong lady.
Because actually me and her got yelled at. Because it was Brooke Adams. She's one of my best friends too, and she was just starting in TNA, and it was her and I think Velvet Sky were teamed up. I think it was those two, and then it was me and Miss Jackie, and we wrestled. And you know, Brooke was new and stuff, and then her weave came out, and I said something in there, whatever, and then Jackie was trying to control her, and you know, she's being a little rough, but just trying to control her, you know, but it wasn't rough. That's how me and Jackie were brought up in the business, you know. We're safe, you know, but we're snug, you know. There's a difference between, you know, people say, oh, you're stiff. It's not being fucking stiff. I'll show you fucking stiff. But like, and then, you know, after the match, you always, you know, say, hey, you know, thank you for everything, whatever. Well, Brooke was, you know, she started crying and stuff, and we've talked about this before, so it's, you know, but I was just like, oh shit. And then we got pulled, you know, by management, and they're like, you girls need to settle down, and you know, not everyone was brought up like you two, so you need to, you know, hold it back. I'm like, all righty, here we go. And then I think I was gone 2 months later.
It's interesting though because I mean, Brooke turned out to be one hell of a wrestler, didn't she?
Yeah, then she worked her ass off, and she was so athletic, and she worked her shit. That's the one thing I love about, especially Brooke. Like, you know your weakness and the strengths. I knew my weaknesses, you know, and then you hide them. You know, she still has an amazing body after 2 kids. So like, you know, she used her ass. She knows how to twerk or tweak or whatever the fuck it's called, and she used it. You know what I mean? And she was athletic, and it's just like, use what you got, girl.
I
and
think
she did. She did.
For me, one of her when she was tagging with Tara, I think that was.
Oh yeah, that was good.
She was fantastic then. Really,
those
really
two,
good.
yeah, they worked very well together. Yeah.
Yeah, really well, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, Tara's really tall, isn't she?
Yeah. We had a pretty long feud in TNA, and me and Tara actually we talk every day on Boxer. So she's one of my best friends too, and we talk a lot. And it's funny, like me and her, like, oh my god, we had a lot of matches. I remember when she was coming in, and I've never met her before when she was in WWE, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh my god, Victoria's coming, and I was so excited. And then I believe I was the champ at the time, so then they put her with me, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. And we feuded for a long time, and we did a lot of cool stuff. And then then she had that spider gimmick. And
that's
then,
right, with the tarantula in the little thing. Yeah, that was cool.
Of course, the tarantula had to be on me after one of the matches. I was like, great. That was fun.
She was a revolutionary changing style of wrestler, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She sort of, for me, she's sort of in the mold of the Gail Kims, really, sort of kind of where things were starting to change and stuff. And we all know why Gail wanted to leave the WWE, because she wanted to be a wrestler, not a dolly bird, basically.
She made the best decision, because she became Miss TNA Knockout. Gail Kim did, and she deserved it. She still always was a hard driven worker, and I loved working Gail because she brought a different side of me out, because she's so she's technical. Like, she's an all-around good worker. And when I got to work with her, I'm like, all right, this is go time. But I always enjoyed wrestling with her and traveling with her too. She's one of my best friends too. And she's now that I'm in Florida, she's in Tampa. So we gotta.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that. Does she not?
Yeah.
I thought she lived in Canada still.
Oh gosh, no, she's been in Tampa for probably since the TNA days, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Now, the other person I wanted to talk to you about that you've worked with, because I'm interested to know, the sort of dynamics of it all, really, is Awesome Kong. Now, you had some slobber knockers with her, didn't you? Because,
yeah.
A big, strong lady, strong lady. And your game in the ring is also like almost a power game. But with you and Awesome Kong, the dynamics there are very interesting, because what was it like working with her?
Well, because I remember because it all started kind of with her and Gail going at it, and then they started adding me in the mix. And then you're like, oh, like the second biggest girl, here. And then the crowd went nuts when like me and her finally just faced off. And so you kind of look at it like Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant kind of look, and like,
I guess, yeah.
Like, oh shit. Like, it's different because everyone always remembers, Gail and Kong. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like people kind of forget about the Kong and ODB little.
Well, they shouldn't be doing that. They certainly shouldn't be doing that.
What the hell are you doing? And we had some good, I mean, there was actually time, because when I got Pyro, so she, it scared the shit out of her. So she's in the ring with Raisha Saeed, her manager, Melissa. And then I come out and my Pyro goes off, and it scared the shit out of Kong. And so she's like talking to me in the ring, and she's like, God damn it, that scared the shit out of me. We just had fun. Like, because I was like, finally someone can throw me around for one. I mean, I didn't really like being power bombed all the time, but damn. But no,
but that's a different dynamic, right? It's a different dynamic when you're in with someone who is physical like that.
I mean, me and her, like, we literally winged it in the ring. Like, we're like, we got it. Just see what happens, you know? Like, but yeah, it was yeah, we had some.
It was good times. I think I think, you know, like I said, for me, you know, growing up. So I mean, I was originally a big, huge Stone Cold Steve Austin fan. That was where all began for me. It was all about the, you know, the hell yeah of the, you know, the Steve Weisers and everything else. You know, that was what I was all about. But then I discovered TNA, and then from the moment I discovered TNA, I almost stopped watching WWE completely, because I was like, this is amazing. This is what wrestling to me, like the storytelling, you know, the big strong good dudes, and the women are actually fighting, and you know, this is exciting stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was exciting stuff, and I really enjoyed it. You know, so for me, like, you know, when you were sort of, well, when I first started watching around about 2006, 2007 time, you know, you were there. So to me, when I think about TNA, when I think about when I first started to watch the product, you know, ODB is one of the first people that come to mind. You know, the other one is like Taylor Wilde, who I thought was fantastic. You know, she's like a little dynamite. You know, she's
we called her Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, superbly fast. She was incredible. Yeah, you're right. So, you know, and of course AJ Styles and you know, your Samoa Joes and your Kurt Angles and your Christians, etc. So that's what I sort of kind of that's what I always associate with TNA for me. Even though I've watched it all the way through, I've never stopped. I've always been TNA Impact man. Yeah. So, you know, don't get me wrong, you know, I still watch other shows. You know, I do watch a bit of AEW, and I still, you know, take a little sneak peek of what's going on in WWE. Of course, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm gonna.
We're all
But my go-to show is definitely Impact Wrestling or TNA, which is hence why I do a podcast based around it. So you know, for you, for me, it's always been, you know, the knockouts of were always you, Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, all those guys. It really made it special for me. So this is a bam moment for me. So I'm really excited to have you on. So it's great. Now let's fast forward it a little bit, because we sort of touched on briefly that you were at Impact tapings in November.
Yep.
Are you still there? You've disappeared on me. Yes, you are.
Yeah, my battery.
So, you know, obviously they did the you know, donate the money to the food truck and all that kind of stuff, which we thought that was awesome of them to do that. And fantastic. My wife actually paid. This was a trip for me in November, was like an early Christmas present, because I had been seeing Impact for such a long time. Because they hadn't been over to the UK either for a few years. So my wife was like, "Oh God, you love it so much. Get over and go and see shows." She paid for my flight and booked a hotel and all this kind of stuff. And it just so happened that after I booked in, they announced that you were going to be there. So I was like,
hell of a Christmas present right there.
I was like, I can't believe it. I'm like, ODB's going to be there. It's going to be amazing. So what I was going to ask you, before I get too carried away, is what was it like being in the ring with the current crop of Impact knockouts? Because I mean, you've got, like, say, you did a little feud really with Taya Valkyrie. I think Jordan Grace was involved, and a few others. What are your thoughts on the current Impact knockout roster?
It was cause it's different anytime, you know, the eras change, and you know, I get back and I'm just in a different stage in my life, you know, where I'm just like, I got a business. Thankful for wrestling, you know, because ODB is my brand. And so going back, I was just, you know, just laid back. I'm like, cool, I'm here, you know. not worried about my match. Shit, I got my shit done. You know what I mean? I'm not like, I'm just in a different, stage
in a
my
totally
life.
different place.
But, yeah.
But what do you think about the current roster there at the moment?
Yeah, and then going back, and I love Taya. Like I love working her because we never worked each other, and she was the one I went back to work with. Oh my gosh, it was freaking awesome. Like, she's all character, but she's very athletic too. But she's like, oh my God, this is gonna be so awesome. Like, our characters were so awesome. We had we cut promos on each other, and it was perfect. And then we started mixing in the other girls with Jordan Grace. She reminds me of like a woman Rhino.
Yeah, she is.
So,
yeah,
and she's very, like, I gotta wrestle. And I'm like, all right, settle down there. Let's settle down. And then, we had I probably worked about four matches, I think, with them, and then had the big pay-per-view at the end, and then put over Jordan Grace for the knockout title. And I remember in that match, before the match started, she was like, oh, we were thinking you should go on the top rope, and I don't even know what the fuck she called it, but do something. I'm like, have you ever seen me go up on the top rope? First of all, I am not going to go on the top rope. And don't tell me what to fucking do. So, right there, I wish I was the fly.
I wish I was the fly on the wall of that conversation.
Like, and I have shit, I can say no whenever I want, but it's just like, I don't need to do that. Like, I'm here, I do bam, drink out of my flask, slap my ass, and
that stuff with Johnny Bravo was brilliant.
Oh my God, that was I really enjoyed working with all of them. And then seeing the new knockouts, I do like them. Like, I think it's fun. They do have a quite variety of the girls, which is good, which is still good, because you can never take away from that knockout division. Like, you always got to be different. Like, that's why you're a knockout, because you're friggin' different from the other girls and the other companies. And so I'm glad they're keeping it that route.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's, I wouldn't mind, well, I don't really want to get in the ring anymore. I'm not a really, I sold my wrestling outfit, so I really don't have anything to wear. So I guess I can just be the old school wrestler that wrestles in their own shirt and jeans, I guess. So if I ever go back,
you could just wear what you're wearing now. That'd be fine.
Well, I made that. I don't care what company it is, but I do want to arrive in my frickin' food truck. I want to be like Stone Cold driving in with like the frickin' Zamboni. So that would be freaking badass.
That would be cool. Yeah, that would be very cool, definitely. Okay, so I'm very conscious of the time. We've been going for a good 40 minutes now. So what does the future hold now for ODB then? Do you want to tell us about, your incredible meet and greet food truck a bit more, or, maybe, are you got any plans to hit the squared circle once again, or, what's the deal? What's the deal? Well, you've got a book. Tell us about your book.
Well, I haven't there will be a book someday. Someday.
Okay, cool.
A cassette book, more like it, because I don't like writing shit, so I would literally put it on a cassette so you can listen to it when you're driving. But no, my ODB's meet and greet food truck is taking off faster than I thought, and I don't know. There's something there. I'm just not sure what direction I want to take. Could it be a franchise? Could it be a restaurant? I don't want a restaurant though. Could it be taking, the actual food truck on the road, hitting, a lot of different states? And so I don't know, like I'm in Florida right now for about 5 months. So I'm going to work it here and then bring it back to Minnesota. So that's my main thing, just doing that. And then I got a lot of, I've just got my own wrestling buddy. I got a slamming buddy. If you guys can go to all my social media stuff at the ODB BAM. And then I got all my food truck shirts you can order.
I actually saw the buddy, actually. Did you put that out yesterday?
Yep, it just came out yesterday, and I've been selling out a lot of them. So they're limited edition. So, and I will sign them. So I'm doing pre-orders right now because they're going to take a few weeks to get out and be made. So I'm taking pre-orders, but if you pre-order it now, you'll get it by Christmas.
Well, expect an order from the Bison. You'll definitely be ordering one of those bad boys. And a nice signature on there would be great as well. That'd be fabulous. Okay, so that's great. where can we find you on the socials? I know that you're quite active on Instagram as well as Twitter as well, aren't you?
And I'm on Facebook too. If you guys are on Facebook, it's under ODB's Meet and Greet Food Truck. I pop right up, and just look. My handle is at the ODB BAM, and my website my website is odbsmeetandgreet.com. So
well, there you go.
You can get you can get everything. I'm on social media. I post twice a day. I'm pretty good with my stuff and sharing. I really share my life to everyone because I live in a classic Airstream trailer. I live in a campground with a bunch of retired people, so it's pretty badass. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, excellent. That sounds really good.
I gotta find maybe I can find a sugar daddy in the campground.
You never know. You never know. Well, I think that's all we got time for today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was fun.
No worries. And I hope you've enjoyed listening to my very special guest, ODB. Now, we've already told the TNI tribe where to find, so that's great. So don't forget to follow the Bison on Twitter. I'm at Lord Bison45. Make sure to follow the Total Nonstop Impact at We Talk Impact, which is available on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to all your favorite songs. And you know, in the end of the day, make sure that you give this one a listen. Make sure you follow ODB on all of the socials. Got some great stuff. It's got lots of great merch, so make sure that you guys get involved in all of that. And if you're ever in the area, I mean, obviously, I am visiting. I'm hoping to visit Florida sometime in 2021. So if you're still around, we may see if we could try and find out where you are and maybe pop down and get a cup of meat or something. I don't know, but that's it sounds good to me. So don't forget to leave us a thumbs up. Drop us in a comment. You know, tell us what you thought about the interview today. I always appreciate all of your comments, guys. So all that's left to say is take care, everybody. And until next time, it's a goodbye from me. This was Bison Talks Impact with my very special guest, ODB.
All right. Bam, bitches.